I'm doing it from material. You see that the slides are all different styles because Craig Hart is now director of the Mineral Deposits Research Unit in Vancouver in Canada, so he was a student of mine, and John Mayer was a student of mine, they're PhD students of mine, and of course you all know Richard Goldfarb from the United States Geological Survey. So it's a bit of a mixture of things. We won't worry too much of that. We'll just look at an overview of these intrusion-related gold deposits. We won't worry too much about that. So I'll just click that on and we can see what we're doing. So if we look at intrusion-related gold deposits, which mostly, these are not necessarily, but most of these are pre-orogenic. They're forming, it's part of the orogeny really, but they're forming during what I call construction of the arcs and backups, a constructional phase. And the main ones, of course, are things like porphyry copper gold deposits, and they're associated with some epithermal deposits. The alkalic porphyry copper gold deposits have got a lot more gold in them than the normal porphyry coppers, and we'll see this is important here because the intrusion-related gold deposits are actually have got an alkalic component. Reduced porphyry copper gold, this was a term introduced by another one of my students, Steve Rowans, but I'm not going to worry too much about this. This is just where the granites are a little bit more reduced in there. And then we've got these intrusion-related gold systems, they're generally called. I don't quite know why they call them systems and not deposits, and sometimes they're called this. And because Craig Hart is from North America, they love these acronyms. Everything's an ERG or a GRERG or a SQUIRG or something. This is just part of American culture. Everything is, you know, with the FBI and with CSI and with, you know, when they've got victims on the CSI, they're VICs instead of victims, and this is just American culture. So some of this has got a bit of American culture in it, which I personally am not very happy with all this stuff because it's very hard to remember. Basically, what we've got are porphyries, alkalic porphyries, and so on, skarns, and so on. They all form one particular group, if we want. They put iron oxide copper gold over here, and if I had time, I'd tell you that the iron oxide copper gold are actually over here. They're not associated with this at all. They're associated with these, if anything. But we won't worry because you probably don't have any, or you may have some, but I'm not so sure. So all of these intrusion related, just forget this damn R on here, RERGs or ERGs. These are intrusion related gold deposits. They have skarns, but they're usually gold or tungsten skarns, not copper skarns like here, and we get some high level ones over here. So this is a particular group, and the porphyries are another group. We won't worry about all this rubbish that comes on. And we'll just have a look at the copper and gold. So most of the porphyries have got both copper and gold, and as I said, the alkalic ones tend to generally have a little bit more gold. This just means reduced porphyry copper gold may have even a little bit more gold in them than the normal porphyry copper gold. And intrusion-related gold have only got gold, and so their general range is something like the porphyries, below 1 gram per tonne, up perhaps to 2 grams per tonne, something like that, but no copper at all. So they're copper poor systems. We won't worry about all these arrows. If we look at the granites that are associated with them, clearly porphyry copper gold deposits, PCGDs, alkalic porphyry copper gold deposits. Why they just don't write these in there, there's plenty of room to spell them out, but it's just an American way of doing things, I think. So these are porphyry copper deposits. They're oxidized granites. They're what we call magnetite series. A Japanese guy called Ishihara produced this classification. So these are magnetic granites. When you see these on a aeromagnetic map, they're magnetic. And the intrusion-related gold systems here are reduced, so they don't show up on aeromagnetic images. They're actually negative on aeromagnetic images, as I'll show. So these are gold, they're reduced granites. These are copper and gold, and they're oxidized granites. So they're a new model type, really. People first started talking about them in 1997. John Thompson and Dick Silito, who are famous geologists, started talking about these. They're not gold porphyries. The rocks they're associated with aren't really porphyritic. The reason that copper gold are associated with porphyry is when the magma starts to crystallize, the big crystals are crystallizing in the magma. As soon as water comes off, it supercools and you get a fine-grained matrix. So the porphyry is an indication you've had a lot of fluid come off. That's why there's this association with porphyries. But these are not porphyritic rocks in general. Most of the terrains they occur in were mined in the past for tin and tungsten. And what I noticed when I was looking at the Arabian-Nubian Shield, there were tin and tungsten deposits over in Saudi Arabia associated with a continent thing they call a continental mass or a microcontinent. So I don't know if there are any tin and tungsten in Egypt.
Yeah,
is there?
Yes.
Whereabouts? Is it to the west?
In the center.
In the centre. In the centre.
Near Sukkot.
Near Sukkari.
No, not but.
Near the village of Sukkot, yes.
No, there's plenty of tin and tungsten showings on the map.
Northeast trend.
Is there? It's not to the southwest of Sukkari.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
northeast.
Northeast of Sukkari as well.
Sukkari.
Okay, all right. Well, then this is interesting.
There's a
Then.
belt. The big belt.
There's a belt of them, are there?
Yeah,
Okay.
which is close to the river.
Okay. See, this is my ignorance because I didn't look at this at all. I noticed them in Saudi Arabia because they've got a very good database. You know, there's a sort of database over there which you can access where you show them, but I didn't access the Egyptian. Have you got a digital database of all these deposits? Does the ministry have one, or
Which one?
do you have a database that you can look up where all these tin and tungsten? You do.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Well, see, that's my ignorance. I didn't know this. So that's well. This is going to be very interesting then, isn't it?
That's a good
Huh? Yeah, I was just asking if it was to the southwest because there's it looks like a microcontinent shown there. There's some continental old Archean rocks in there, and so that was interesting. So this is interesting. Oh, that's good. So we've got moderately reduced. The granites are a little bit radiogenic, but not so much. And there's a very unusual back arc setting near continental margins. That's why I was asking about these. So if you got, wondered what these nice domes were. If you've got tin and tungsten around, they might actually be basement as well as Neoproterozoic rocks. This is something that, I'm not sure about either. I wondered what they were because they're quite unusual. So if you've got tin and tungsten around these, they might actually be fragments of older material that's remobilized. So that's very interesting. They're not gold porphyries because they don't have any economic base metals. They don't have widespread alteration. They don't have these shells of alteration. They don't have stockworks. They don't have any meteoric fluid, although you wouldn't know that unless you do fluid inclusion studies. And we don't have any oxidized magnets. So they're intrusion-related gold, but they're nothing like porphyries. But they do have, they're centered around intrusions. They're often small, high-level plutons, like the porphyry coppers. We do get skarns. We do get some distal silver, lead, zinc veins, and we might get high-level ores. You don't have any silver mines in Egypt? Don't have any?
Yes.
You do have silver mines?